Undeafen done. Unmute mic transition done. Intro song done. Wow. Here we are. Another break from podcasting for another week. And here we are back again in the studio with, the people who are in the studio. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm not a rapper. I'm not a rapper. I am a rapper. Anyways,
Basically.
yeah. Have you heard me rap before?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I sent the. I don't remember if I sent the tracks to you, but anyways, welcome back everyone to the Neon Podcast. Joining me today is a returning guest, Mxwcat, Cat herself. Hi, Cat. How are you?
What it is, what it do. It is I, Mxwcat on the mic.
Oh,
Um.
MC Cat. Let's go.
Oh God. All I know is what it is, what it do.
Okay, so funny random tangent that I've just, that happened this past weekend about like rapping, right? And and we were just joking about like random things. I'm like, so let me put this some random context to the context to this story. So, me and my friends, we all had our like 20 plus person Friendsgiving in San Diego, and a bunch of us are from LA or wherever, and then we slept over at people's houses. So the next morning, by tradition, whenever there's a big get together with that group in San Diego, we always get pho the next morning together. So we got pho, and then while we're eating pho, we're just randomly talking about stuff. There's like 20 of us in the restaurant taking about like a section of it, and then a friend started talking about like random words and stuff, and then one of the tables got their food first, and we were like, oh man, dude, that looks good, let me have some of your food, even though we're all getting pho, right? Because some people got appetizers, some people got rice dishes, whatever, because it's just an overall Vietnamese restaurant. And I was like, dude, let me have some. But my friend, he looked at me, he's like sitting across the aisle on a different table, he's like starts eating it, and he goes, here, Nayron, come have some. And I'm like, oh, like, let me be mama bird. And I'm like, oh God, he's gonna regurgitate it. And I was like, regurgitate, that's a good word, the people don't use that word enough. So then, yeah. So the point is not the concept of regurgitating. I went, and my friend kept saying regurgitate. I went, we should make that into a rap, make a bar.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, and I was like, dude, how can you make that into a rap? And I was like, so I thought about it. It was like legit 10 seconds pass. I had to think, because I'm not a good off the top of my head rapper. I got to like write it down, even if it's like mental note, write it in my head, right? So I was like, oh, what was the bar that I wrote in those 10 seconds of past time? It was like something along the lines of, I'm an original, you're a copy, and all you're going to do is gonna hate. Everything that you do is the same that I do, and all you do is regurgitate. And I was like, oh, okay. Shit. I was like, oh shit. Oh shit. My friends were like, oh, damn. And then I was like, yeah, all right, let's eat our food. And then our food came, and then we started eating. I'm not a rapper.
Yeah, spit bars.
Yeah, spit bars. yeah, exactly. Spit bars, not food. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Shugo and Jay, thank you for the community point challenge points and all that. Thank you, Kenshi Council. But yeah, I mean, it's the end of 2022. It's the last podcast for the year. Yay! And I get to have Kat on as the last guest of the year. Yay! Someone who's been. That's true. You've only been a guest this year because we've only met this year. So yay! Bring it up an octave. Yay!
Oh God.
So yeah, I mean, Kat, first off, again, glad to have you on. Second off, of course. Second off, glad to have met you and have you been on the podcast, and as a person I've met online as a friend, to been able to talk stuff out with and random stuff. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I I'm glad that we met. It happened, I think, in Kev Jumba's Discord server, I believe.
Yep. It was just like a random. I think it was a Tuesday. We were playing Rocket League, and I was like, "Oh, this is a new person."
Mhm.
So yeah. That was it was chill. And then I was like, "Oh, you stream? Oh, for real? For real? Let me check it out." And then yeah. So yeah, that's glad to have been able to meet you this year. It's this year, right? Yeah, it's this year for sure, for
Mhm.
sure. And third off, um, not really like a statement, but more of like how would you disgustingly short summarize your 2022?
I think 2022 was definitely a year of enlightenment. I learned a lot from every experience that I encountered, and I think that it definitely made me realize the things that are important and the people that I want to be around.
Nice. So you got to. Oh man, that is a lot. It's a lot about of experiences and interpersonal relationships and stuff like that, dynamic lifestyle and things. That's very interesting. Because it's
Yeah.
like, because it's like, even though you like you had a good amount to say, that's still disgustingly short if you think about it in the context of what of your life, right?
Yeah,
It's like it sounds like a lot, but then at the
it
same
definitely
time
was.
but at the same time you're being like very vague in general to say like like I don't know how many people you interacted with this year. That could have been 5, that could have been 50, could have been 500, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like it, out of context it sounds vague and not that big, but in context I feel like for everyone a full year can be a lot of time. And for you, would you consider this a year in general a lot of time, and would you consider this past year fast or slow in that context?
I actually think this year went by very fast because when I talk about like experiences and stuff, like there were a lot of things at the beginning of this year that I thought I was gonna do. Like I thought I was gonna be best friends with like a one girl and like my relationship and like later on I realized like how important family is, and it's like, I learned so much to the point where, like, I think 2023 is actually gonna be pretty wild because I can't foresee anything.
Mm. So as far as we'll talk about 23 real soon. As far as 22 goes, right? What did you have? Well, we'll start at the very beginning then of the year, as
Mhm.
most people do. Did you start this year with any resolutions, or like quote unquote resolutions, or goals overall that you wanted to see yourself do or reach? Because you said you had some things that you either planned or expected but didn't happen, but did you have anything overall planned or set at the beginning?
At the beginning of 2022, I remember telling myself that I wanted to, fix a lot of friendships. Like,
Mm.
I wanted to fix and repair, relationships with people that I thought were gonna be, like, a big part of my future. And come to find out, like, every single one of those friendships that I tried repairing was not worth it.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was, like, one of the main things, and then the second one was obviously, trying to get out of, Virginia because I was in the military for about, like, 4 years,
Hmm.
and, that was probably the only thing that I actually accomplished.
Okay. So then, okay, I'll break it down into segments first. So first, just to keep yeah, because there's like there's a lot to unpack, and I just have a lot of questions because 20 I'm just like there's 2022 is a big year, and like if I had multiple people on the podcast, I wouldn't be able to go into as depth, right? We
Mhm.
would have to take it a little bit slower. But for you, right? A vague estimate number, right? How many of these relationships did you attempt to fix?
I wanna say I attempted about maybe I wanna say, like, 5?
Okay, okay.
5 people?
That's fair. That's fair. In some cases, that's a lot. And I
Yeah.
think for me, that is a lot. Five is a lot. For me, I'm like two's good. Two's good. Two's
Two's
okay.
fine.
Two's fine. Meanwhile, you over here, five. Okay, cool, cool, understandable. But then cool. So then that was the only thing you moved out of Virginia. Okay, so then let me rewind just a little bit because I realize this question is kind of more better for framing, these questions. Is do you consider a year as like a starting point or a milestone or anything? Because for me, right, personally speaking, just because the year and the date on the calendar changes, it doesn't really change what I want to do in life, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. No, I get you. I think like it all really depends because I've come to learn throughout this year that when you set goals for yourself, it's
Hmm.
more like it kind of discourages you. And what I mean by that is like say you set a goal and you end up not accomplishing it, you take it more out on yourself because you feel like, I'm unaccomplished. I didn't do what I wanted to do. And you look past all of the experiences that you actually went through. Like for example, like if I said like, "Hey, I wanna lose like 10 pounds," right? And then you end up not making that goal. But
Okay.
it's the pure fact that like the process in losing those 10 pounds, like you learned a lot. You learned more about your body, you interacted in the gym, you met new people, but it's the pure fact that you like had this goal and you're like, "Damn, I didn't make that goal." So like when I think of like the years, I think that like yeah, a year can be a start for something, but like it's not necessarily like, okay, well, this is the year because then you're just putting off like all these things that
Mm.
you want to do for yourself. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, for sure, for sure. That's why, you know, people, growing up in like American culture, it's such a American thing, and or maybe not American, a Western thing to have. Oh, New Year's resolution, New Year, new me, right? And because it's in a Western culture, so I wouldn't say ingrained, but very much more of a recent like millennial social media type of thing
Mhm.
that I've sort of not only numbed it out, but at the same time, I'm just like, yeah, I realize that's not for everybody. And
Mhm.
even if some people do it, I'm like, more power to you if it helps you. Otherwise, it's just I consider it like a fad. Just every year, people say that, and yeah, new day, new me. Exactly, Spalding. One day at a time rather than one year at a time. Um,
Yeah,
because at the end of it all, time doesn't stop, right?
exactly.
Technically, a calendar and a year is a social construct. Like this sounds super philosophical and like liberal bullshit, right? I'm like, it's everything. Everything's a social construct, and like technically it is, right? It's just a
Mhm.
metric of how, if we went around the fucking sun on this giant ass rock. But I mean, I'm not wrong. That's what it's for. But the
Mhm.
point is, right, for me is because for some people a year is a long time. I can understand that some people will feel like it's a soft reset, even though a lot of things don't change just because the year changes, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
then that's how I view it. And for that kind of ingrained in me more so after I graduated school. Right. The reason why I say
Mhm.
after school was because it's like, oh, every year it's the same general program. You start school in the fall, you end in the spring, and then you have summer, whatever. That's your year. But now going out, finishing school, having a job, and having a bunch of friends and our own lives and stuff, I realized just because it's new year doesn't really change much, right? People still are doing their own thing on their own program, and the life doesn't change that drastically outside
Yeah.
of being a student. So I mean that's why I bring it up, because you were in the military, and then now that you're out, right, like you have your own different priorities that you had to work on and stuff and like
Yeah.
do. So I mean, do you personally like view yourself as a person who had that kind of mentality before, where it was like, or did you always have that mentality of it doesn't matter what the year is?
Um, I've actually always had that mentality of it doesn't matter what the year is, but I think the one main thing that changed, specifically to 2022 was like I thought if I had a plan and it didn't go through,
Mm,
then like it was a fault on my end. You know what I mean?
right,
But
right.
it's not necessarily that. Like I also had an idea of going back to school, but my main thing is just like it's not like, it's not a shot at people who are still, like, heavily in school and stuff like that. I just realized, like, the military gave me the experience of life is very short. It's very short to have issues with people. It's very short to set goals that you aren't really confident in. And it's like, I learned to live by experiences and do the things that I enjoy because, there's this toxic thing that ran in my family, and it was basically like you graduate high school, you go to school, you get a degree, and you get a job, and it's done. But it's not necessarily like that. Like some people are very successful with or without school. And like in my personal case, I was like, well, I like to create content. I like to do freelancing. I like to explore and experience new things. And I just realized that by letting the judgments of others, take control of my life, like, I'm gonna be the person that lays in the coffin by themselves, you know? After
Mm,
everyone's judgments, after everyone's recommendations on my life, if I let them control the things that I want, then I wouldn't be living for myself at that point. I'd be living for the sake of others. So,
right,
I
right.
decided like, at the end of this year, you know, like, I came to the realization that, like, I can never really live for anybody else. So, regardless how anyone views me or feels that I'm living my life, it doesn't matter what they think.
Right. And like, and that goes back to like one of the earlier episodes that you were on this year, is that you went to that realization, right? You came to that kind of
Mhm.
mentality a lot earlier than I would say a lot of people would normally experience, right? So
Mhm.
for you, it makes sense, right? If especially for, at least for what I know about you, right? It makes
Yeah.
sense. But on the flip side, right, you know, I'm sure you know a lot of people who either haven't experienced that or are still in that early mind, the our version of early mindset, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, not again, not to like shoot or target anybody for having that type of mentality, but you know, you already pointed out, you know, living for yourself rather than living for others. And in your opinion, right, um you know, from the way we view life in our perspectives and through our experiences, is that like an not necessarily an evolutionary mindset, but is like, do you think that's like a natural progression of how people would live, or especially like in Western culture, or is that just like a person to person experience? Because I know in the West, right, we have a lot more cultural freedom to do so,
Mhm.
whereas like, let's say, you know, in Asia or like the Middle East, right, or even like places of poverty, they don't have many opportunities, right? They're not allowed those opportunities to get to make the able to make these same decisions that, you know, we are able to make mentally, right? So I mean, would you consider this more of like a privilege, an opportunity? Is it just something that has to be experienced to have that mindset, or can it be taught or through someone else's experience, right? Because it's hard to say, and it's like a very open ended and vague question, but I'm just, in your opinion, right, because you've went through it a long time ago.
I truly think that to accomplish or to get to this mindset, it's more like it's all about preference. Like there are a lot of people that are very strict on like what they want in their life. So they go through the necessary steps to reach that goal. However, like um, there's a difference between people who are, like, spontaneous like myself and those who are very, like, in tune with, like, this is how I want my life to live. This is my end goal. Because at the end of the day, like everybody has a different mentality, a
Uh,
different idea of what life is about. And
true, true, true.
I met a lot of people that feel as if like, well, happiness is success, right? But that's not my idea of happiness. Like I know somebody who is going to school and they were like, well, if I go to school and I become a doctor and I become a brain surgeon, like that to me is the most fulfilling that I'll ever get in life, right?
Okay,
But for myself, I'm like, well, my idea of success or happiness is being content with the life that I'm living now, right? So, like,
okay.
do I enjoy waking up every day? Do I enjoy doing the things that I do? And it all really depends on like the individual.
Gotcha, gotcha. I mean, yeah, that's very true. That sounds like I wanted your opinion. For me, I want to say it depends on the individual, but there's so many like environmental factors, and everyone has a different situation, and but
Mhm.
we all just we many of us experience a lot of similarities just in different times in different ways. So that's
Mhm.
that's why I'm just like, oh man, like you said, you experienced it very early, whereas mine was like compared to you much more later. And then I also know some people who also experienced that even later than I. So it was just an interesting thing that I considered. So as yeah, nice, nice. I mean, is there anything that, as far as the year goes, right, mentally, regarding how you lived life, was that a change specifically in this year, or did you
Um,
did you see any other changes in yourself, like that you could, like, not necessarily pinpoint, but like be like, oh yeah, I've changed in this manner.
um, I would say that like it started with the idea of family, and this happened a little while ago.
Hmm.
So like, I I'm not very close with my family, and there are a lot of people that are like, oh, well, I'm very family oriented, right? And like that was the whole reason why I joined the military. And the thing is though, like I realized previous years, I would shut away friendships and I would close doors to opportunities to meet people and build very close relationships. And it was mostly because like I was afraid of the idea of being left by myself. But at the end of it, I realized it was because I wasn't opening myself up to these opportunities. So like the main thing was I had a best friend, and well, she was my best friend. And I thought that we were out of contact because I was in the military, but it turns out we just have completely different views, like how we live our
Mm,
lives. And
okay.
I come to realize you can't force somebody to care about something as much as you care about something. So it's just like if you don't align with somebody, it's okay to cut off those friendships no matter how long they were, right?
Okay.
And when I talk about family, like another random story. So I had a pen pal of 10 years. And I don't know if you saw that video, but I ended up meeting him for the first time. And that was actually like the main shift. Like even though it happened, I want to say like last month, I realized that like I never actually had true friends. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And like when we talk about like friendships and stuff, like this was a friend that I had in 7th grade, and like where Kick was a thing, where Instagram was barely making, like they didn't even have videos
Right, right.
before. And like when I had this friend, we lost contact, I want to say when I was in the, I think, 11th grade, and then we reconnected when I was in the military, and then we fully began talking again the beginning of this year. And with this friendship, I came to the realization that like if a friendship was meant to be, if someone was meant to be in your life, they will come back, you know? So
Oh,
you
okay.
should never, yeah, you should never force relationships with people. And when I looked back at all the other friends that I had in my past, like they never made the same effort. They never tried to see how I was doing. But someone that I've known on the internet for like 10 years was like, "Oh yeah, no, I want to know how you're doing." And that's when I started to view friendships differently. Like for instance with me and you, like you reached out to me out of nowhere and I was like, "Oh, like Neon's like a real friend." And that was something that even though people are like, "Oh, well this is what a friend's supposed to be," I never knew what a real friend was.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha, gotcha. I,
Mhm.
I know a couple of people like that too. And similarly, like I don't know if this is a coincidence or not, but they were also in the military, in the Navy as well. But like, continue.
Oh, no, it's just, like, it's so surprising when you meet people that have because everybody has different experiences in life, but, like, specifically, like, with my best friend, he would always tell me, like, "No, this was, like these are my group of friends, and this is how we operate, this is how close we are," and, like, we go through struggles and stuff, but at the end of the day, we lean on each other, and I never had that. And I was almost like envious of those relationships because I don't have any of those kinds of relationships because I closed the door to those opportunities. So
Okay.
one thing that I wanted to work on was, allowing people in my life and, not letting the mindset of, well, these people are going to use me, these people are going to leave me. Because if they're going to leave, it's because they weren't meant to be in your life. And you have to focus on yourself more than anything.
Right, right. I mean, in that same light, right? Just to on the opposite side of the coin, would you consider, what is considered a good friend more so again, uh an sort of an evolutionary sort of thing because society has just become so much more interconnected, right? Whereas before it's
Mhm.
like if you didn't have friends that treated you right, then maybe in the same way maybe you wouldn't have friends back in the day because it's like, oh, you know, being able to talk to someone nowadays is really easy if you have
Yeah.
electricity and internet, right? Whereas back in, decades ago, all you had was a pen pal and traveling would have been super difficult and even more expensive, right? So, I mean, is it subject it's I still consider it slightly subjective on people like what people would consider what's a good friend, right? And
Mhm.
like you just noticed in Jay what he said in chat, the beatings will continue until morale improves. I mean, yeah, it's funny because technically it's sort of true because it is it really a beating if you enjoy it? I'm just kidding. I'm
Oh
kidding.
my
I'm
god.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Bondage, bondage.
But damn, hardier. No, but really, it's just the concept of a good friend has been not necessarily twisted and skewed because it's
It
a
was
good.
twisted and skewed for me. I mean, because I had no idea what a good friend was. Like, I'm the type of friend where,
Mm,
like, money doesn't matter. Like, if you wanna spend time with me, I value time over, like, money any day. And,
okay.
what I came to realize too was a lot of people were using me because they're like, "Oh, well, Cat's gonna pay for me. Oh, Cat's gonna do this for me. Cat has my back," but did they have mine? And, like, when you ask, like, is it, like, an evolutionary type thing? Well, if we go back to those times where, like, back then where I wasn't making any, like, real, real close connections with people, it wasn't the fact that it was, me, it was just the people around me just weren't right for me? And, I think with how the internet has become over the years, like, it is now acceptable to be your own person, because, like,
Right.
you're influenced by your surroundings, what you grow up with. And, where I grew up, there was not like, there's pretty much, like, close to none, like, no one that was, similar to me. And thankfully for the internet, I met someone that, like, even meeting this dude in person, like, we are the exact same person.
Wow, that's actually super coincidental and like super great that you two were able to talk and meet. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
go ahead, continue.
No, and you were saying, like, like, traveling wasn't really a thing, and how this trip came to be was I was like, "Damn, like, I'm going through some really hard times right now." And he's just like, "Yeah, well, you just gotta push through." And in my head, I was just like, "Wait." I'm not in middle school anymore. I'm not in high school, and I booked a flight, and he's like, "Bro, are you for real?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna meet you." Like,
Oh
this
shit.
I was
That's
like, "What am
tight.
I?" I was like, "What am I talking about, bro?
What?
Like, we've been friends for so long, and I'm over here like, ah, I don't know how I'm ever gonna see you." Like, bro, just fly and go. And then, like, when I met like, that was literally because we both believe in there is no such thing as coincidences, and it's just
Okay.
like, the fact that we are the same person, the fact that we came back to each other, it's just like, yeah, this friendship was meant to be a thing. And it also taught me that, like, you should never shy away from experiencing things like this. Like, this was very spontaneous, and as spontaneous as I am, like, this is something I would have never thought of doing, but it's like, you come to realize how short life is. Like, if I had just lived in this boxed, mentality of like, "Oh, well, things aren't going right because it's like nothing there's no purpose for me," like, it's not true. Like, people like to say, "Oh, well, good things will come to those who wait," and I think that's bullshit. I think good things come to
Mm,
people who try and
interesting.
go for it, you know what I mean? Because if you don't try anything new, if you don't experience failure, then you'll never know what success is. And, like, it started with that. I was like, if I had just planned to meet him sooner, like, I just like, I'm so stupid.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with you. It's like, oh, Spalding, make your own luck. Hey, that's a great saying too.
Yeah.
But like at the same thing, it's like people, you know, similar to what you said, people won't go out of their own comfort zone. People
Mm.
won't bother to look for something new, even if like especially if they're comfortable in how they're living life with their own current lifestyle. But even if they're feeling even a little bit uncomfortable and there's something that's pushing for a change, that they won't go for that change, they won't go for that new experience. And that's just,
Exactly.
people are today are, including myself, right? And I wanted, and this mentality changed for me during the pandemic because I wanted to go out more, I wanted to do things, I wanted to meet new people, and et cetera, et cetera. But in that same sense was just, I want to go out and do more things and just live life for myself.
For
And
yourself, exactly.
exactly. And one thing that I was able to do this year, and I was supposed to go to Japan in October, but that got postponed to next year in March. So I'll be able to say have something in 2023 to talk about. But this year I still managed to plan a spontaneous like trip the hell a trip a trip a trip damn it. Yeah, I'm going in March, Jay. Yes, I'm going in March. But a spontaneous trip that was planned in like a week and a half, 2 weeks, as me and my friends from the Bay Area, me in SoCal, some friends in Canada, and we all met in Seattle, a city that none of us are from. And we were like, we're gonna have a weekend there. We're gonna have like a little bit longer than a weekend, and we're gonna have a good time. And then me able to experience, to meet new people for the first time, on a vacation, to experience a brand new city, new climate and just environment, right? And I was like, I want to do more of this. And Seattle's a very tame city, right? There's no real nightlife there. It's, and especially since I went in the fall and the winter. What the hell?
Woo!
Oh my god, I gotta turn
Let's
off this
go!
notification. What the hell? Merry Christmas, Anthony.
Let's go!
What the hell?
Congratulations!
Oh no! I have to turn off the sound notification now.
Congratulations!
Anthony, okay. I have to turn off the notifications. Oh god.
Wow, 50 subs.
50
Let's
subs.
go.
Welcome everyone to the light show, and welcome back for all the returning. Holy. Alright, hold on. I gotta disable this now. I gotta disable this.
Put some pogs in the chat, everybody. Let's go.
Holy. What the hell in the middle of the podcast, too? This guy's an absolute Chad.
Woo!
Oh no, go to dashboard. I need to disable. I can't remember how I disable.
Oh, you're fucked.
On it, on it, on it. Can I
Wow.
disable? Disable. Did I disable it? Okay, I disabled it. No, I didn't. Fuck.
No, you didn't.
I forgot how to turn it off, guys. Oh no. Hold on. I have to figure this out now.
Or just let it play. Give us a treat.
50 times? We're barely like 10 done. Alright, well.
Speech.
Speech. Oh, I know how I did it last time. There we go. I've turned it off. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't let it play. I would let it play if it was like a regular, if it wasn't an episode. But it's gonna be like 5 minutes of the sound clip.
Right?
It might get flagged because it's music on YouTube.
Oh, fuck.
But Anthony, thank you for the 50 gifted. Merry Christmas. I literally talked to you like before the podcast started. Thank you, and welcome everyone back to the Light Show. Holy, and that now I feel like I gotta put the all time for year instead of monthly. I don't remember what we were talking about. What were we talking about? I was in Seattle.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm just laughing at this because Anthony does it so many times. But and I realized, I want to go out and do more things. And Seattle was, I think, one of the first steps that as an adult, right? I'm just like, I said, fuck it, we're gonna go. Since it's like similar to you, like, yeah, I'm gonna buy a ticket, I'm gonna just go, right?
Right.
And sometimes, and thankfully for the friend groups that I was a part of that went to Seattle, right? That they were also very spontaneous and be like, 2 weeks, a week and a half, let's fucking do it. And they're like, let's go. And I met out of the 5 people on that trip, me included, right? So 4 people other than me, I only knew one of them, and I've met in person before. The other 3, we're all meeting for like the first time. And what I realized also was that I'm thankful to have people that are down like that, because normally it was only going to be like not even me going to Seattle. It would have been the person I knew and then maybe like one other person that would have met him there. But when I said I was going to go, it influenced like 2 other people to go. So it became just a 2-person meetup to a 5-person hangout. So, and I was just really thankful for them to be able to show up and meet and say fuck it alongside me and just say we're gonna do this. And just being able to have the people that have that same vibe and same energy to just do things is really assuring, especially when you want something new and new experiences and places and adventures to go on, right? Because if you're also surrounding yourself with people who don't want, like you said, living for someone else, that don't want to see you try something new or experience something that you might not like, that, or maybe not you might not like, but they might not like because they're a different person, right? It's limiting. But when you take, like you said earlier, when you don't limit yourself, you'll have an experience nonetheless. Whether it's good or bad, it's still something that you can go and do, right? So
Yeah.
and just having friends like that just made the experience that much more better, and that's that much more fun. So yeah, it's just shout out to those friends, the Seattle crew. But yeah, I mean, so in the greater context of things, right? You moved out of Virginia. You are now where, if you don't care about a general
Doxing
doxing?
myself?
Yeah, without doxing yourself. You're
I
gonna like
live in
put it.
a-
You're gonna put like an exact address. I'm just like, whoa.
I currently live in Las Vegas, which is my city, and born and raised in city. And I I guess like since I came to this realization like last month, I'm more towards looking I'm more towards looking forward to experiencing new things now, because like I come to the realization, and I always say realization, right? A lot of enlightenment this year is like you're not ever trapped. you're never ever trapped unless you place yourself in those situations. And like to those who are in school, like you still have time to do the things that you enjoy, you know, and you may not have
Mhm.
the money, but there's always avenues of making revenue, and there's always things that can be accomplished as long as you put your mind to it, you know? And that goes with also surrounding yourself with people that are willing to support you in those kinds of manners, you know? Like, I also met somebody that makes music. And I've always wanted to create music of my own. And like he was going through this thing of like, man, I'm gonna level up my music, but I just can't find people, you know? And then we found each other. So it's like, you know, kind of pushing yourself to do the things that you enjoy and not worrying about judgment or worrying about like where it's gonna take you. Just letting the journey take you for a ride, you know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm. Absolutely. I mean, for you, right? Moving was already a big thing, but generally, like you're already from, Vegas. So,
Mhm.
would you say, what are some of the new experiences you'd say you in this past year that you've
Um,
had? And if not new, maybe like refreshing. It's like you haven't done it in a long time, or even if you something you did, maybe you learned something different. Something you've done before.
so one thing that I learned, well, that I completely forgot about is it's I don't know how many people do this, but have you ever like went to like a restaurant or like a place that you normally eat at and just ate there by yourself?
Yes.
Yeah, like I didn't realize like cuz I'm more familiar with Vegas. I'm more comfortable in Vegas, and it's just like doing things like that for yourself. It's very peaceful. It's very much like, you know, I'm at a familiar place and I'm here on my own, and it's nice to get out of your home and doing things that you normally wouldn't do or haven't done in a long time. And I didn't do that much in Virginia because I was so afraid of going out. I was very much to myself. And like I think the things that I've done new is actually talk to people. And I used to be a very social butterfly.
Hmm.
And due to the military, it really it really stunned me to where, like, I just did not trust anybody. And, by being back in Vegas and seeing the vibes here and how people are open to conversation, open to talking to strangers, like, it goes to show that, like, it's your environment. It's ultimately your environment and opportunities that you take for yourself that really mold how your life is going to be. So I think what I learned was if I do more out of the box, out of the comfort zone type things, I'll be able to experience or learn something from what I've done. Like crazy. So you know designer, the person that made Panda?
Yeah, the rapper. Yeah.
If I hadn't gone out this night at a club, I wouldn't have been partying with designer. I actually
Oh
ended up
shit.
I shook his hand, I was in his section, he bought us alcohol, and I met designer. Like, I was like, "Holy shit," like, the odds, you know what I mean? Like, and that's simply by just, "You know what? I'm gonna go clubbing," and I don't normally go clubbing, you know what I mean?
Was that like by yourself with friends
Oh,
or
that was with
just?
friends. It it was so spontaneous and out of nowhere. They're like, "Hey, we should go, like, to this one place," and I was like, "Sure, we should go," and then designer comes up, and
Oh
he's
shit.
he's playing at that club, and we're like, "What the fuck?" And then he noticed us, and then we ended up in the DJ booth, like, numerous times, and, like, I just that was such a highlight of, like, because that was around Halloween, because it was just, like, not many people go out of their way and, do things that I don't know, just, like, try to experience new things, you know? And, like, when I meet people that are like, "Oh, well, you know, I just wanna keep to myself. I just wanna just do my own thing," like, that's fine too. But if you limit yourself and you, like, avoid opportunities like this, like, you'll never have any stories to tell. Like, you'll reach your goal, yes, and then it's like, "Well, what
Hmm.
now?
Right,
How
right,
do
right,
I
right.
live life?"
Right, right, right.
What
Exactly.
is after plan A? You know what I mean?
Yeah, plan B. I'm just kidding. What's a plan B? I don't know. No, like I absolutely agree with you in that sense because I was that way when I first finished high school and went to college, right? When I
Mhm.
went to university in a brand new city in a brand new region, and I was just like, I'm just gonna keep to myself. I'm just gonna play video games. I'm just chill. I'm gonna eat food, whatever. Then I realized, man, I could have met a lot more people if I just went out and did stuff. Because in high school, I was considered like a social butterfly by a lot of people. I was the loud one. I was the one who was always outgoing, trying to just meet new people. But then I don't know what happened. I was just scared of like meeting new people. Not necessarily anxiety, but I guess you can call it anxiety.
Mhm.
Kind of kicked in, and I sort of just became like a hermit my freshman year. And I was like, I didn't take that many risks, and
Yeah.
I just wanted to feel comfortable for once. And that's what, and my academics suffered a little bit, and all whatever classic freshman 15 and all that stuff happened. But and I'm doing stuff now that I'm just like, because I have money, because I'm more confident in my own skin to be able to do stuff like go out to eat, go out to travel by myself, going out to just meet new people and do stuff, right? Similar to you, right? I When I was in Seattle, so I think I told this story before on the podcast, but I don't think you were on there. But I'll tell
Mhm.
a quick summary. So I was in Seattle, and I didn't really have an itinerary. It was like half the days were like vaguely planned. The other days were just open to do whatever we would want. I had like a night to myself and stuff. And there was this, I was just posting on social media about me being in Seattle, and not many people knew about it, about my trip. And I was just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be gone next week, stuff like that.
Mhm.
And when I posted on social media, a friend from high school hit me up. She was like, hey, you're in Seattle? I'm like, yeah, what's up? She was like, I live in Seattle now. I'm like, the fuck would you move to
Well,
Seattle? I haven't talked
yeah.
to you in like 3 or 4 years, dude. What the hell? And she was like, yeah, like my birthday's coming up. I'm like, so you trying to hang out or what? You live in Seattle, it's your birthday, let's celebrate. She was like, actually, I got this huge event. I got a birthday party, we're out of place, we're gonna drink and all that stuff. I'm like, for
That's
sure.
amazing.
And then she was like, you should come through. I'm like, all right, I'll consider it. She sends me the invite. I see the guest list. There's like 30 plus people on this guest list. Obviously, I know none of them, right?
Mhm.
And I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll show up, see what happens. I show up, things a little awkward, and then I realized it's not just her birthday, but it's also a friend of hers birthday. So it's two different, not just two different friend groups, but it's like four different friend groups trying to mash
Oh
together,
god.
right? So I'm just like, okay, cool. And obviously, like, oh, I realized that because only a couple people know each other. They're all like sort of keeping to themselves too, because everyone just trickling in here and there, and like occasionally they'll people will be saying hi to each other because they know each other. They're like, oh hey, I haven't seen you in a while, or like, how's this? I'm like, cool. Then obviously, first round of shots happen. Everyone get a couple drinks. I'm like, all right, I'm getting a vibe. I'm feeling real comfortable in dude. Alcohol loosens me up way too much. I swear,
Nah,
it's
bro.
way too much. It's a dude. Was it liquid confidence? That's what that shit
Yes.
is, dude. Yeah.
Liquid confidence.
So then I just have one of the best nights in Seattle. Just getting drinking with like a bunch of new friends. I'm like added so many people on Instagram, got to talk to them and hear about like their stories and how they know each other, and we're just having a great time. And I'm like, this all happened so spontaneously. I wasn't planning to get this kind of messed up in Seattle, but I did,
Mhm.
with like a friend who hit me up spontaneously and was cool and vibed with me to be able to invite me to something like that, and met so many people that night. I'm like, dude, this is such a great story to tell, and be able to have met all these people. And I know like they probably don't watch the podcast or anything, but I'm just like, dude, I always have to remember that, because that was a crazy fun night in Seattle. People were like taking care of each other that they never met. People, dude, I was at the party, right? And people like,
Mhm.
hey, they're like, people trying to remember each other's names. Just like, I met a guy who's like Nero, and I was like, hey, what's up, man? It's like, oh, dude, you good? I'm like, hell yeah, I'm good. It's like, hey, we got a couple extra chashu baos. You want one? I'm like, you for real?
Fuck.
They just handed me a fresh chashu bao fucking in the middle of the party because we were like a block away from Pike's place, the freaking market. in Seattle. So then I was just like eating one in the middle of the party with other people. Like, hell, you thanks, guys. You guys appreciate you giving me one. They're like, yeah, no problem, man. I'm like, you guys are awesome.
You would have never experienced that if you had like, you know what? Maybe I don't want to go to Seattle. You know what I mean? And those are the experiences that I'm talking about. It's like you would have never known this part of life unless you just went out and did it.
Exactly. And then like, if I didn't say fuck it, I would have been in Seattle. And even if she
Yeah.
invited me, I could have said no. I went like, no, I don't feel comfortable going. But I went anyways. So I was just like, oh my gosh. It was just compounding of me just saying, let's fucking do it. It was just like that Yes Man movie, right? It's like
Mhm.
you just say yes to everything sometimes. You just go and it'll take you somewhere. So yeah, that's my semi short story of my spontaneous Seattle trip. And yeah, man, I mean that's just one story in this past year, which is crazy. I don't have too many like awesome stories from this year, but on similar to you, right? I tried reconnecting with some people, and not to like rub it in your face or anything, but like thankfully I was able to reconnect with them.
Nah,
Yeah,
that's nice.
yeah, fuck you, cat.
Lucky.
Yeah, I'm better than you. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But obviously, and because I don't know if we talked about this last time when you were on either, but I at the end of 2021, my support system sort of got shot,
Mhm.
and it was like I had to rebuild a good chunk of my support system and like my friend group, and it was a struggle, right? And I had to deal with it by myself. Versus now, I'm like just reaching out to people just to reach out to people. I'm like, oh man, we interact on social media, we react to each other's stories, but we don't talk. Why don't we talk? And then I started talking, and I'm like, yeah, let's vibe, let's hang out. And then our friendships managed to pick up where we left off years ago and stuff, and we're just having a good time and just catching up and telling stories. And I'm super happy that I made that conscious decision to reconnect with people like that,
Mhm.
that they were like old friends. And thankfully they still vibe with me.
Yeah.
But
I just heard you take a swig of whatever you were drinking.
it's water, I gotta stay hydrated. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, as far as like plans for the future, I want to keep doing what I do, right? And
Mhm.
like I feel like 2022 has been the biggest year of growth for me, other than 2019 when I worked out like the most and lost the most weight. But that's different. But
Mhm.
but 2022 was like a lot of personal and internal growth. I got to talk to a lot of people and meet them and experience new things. And 2023 is, I think, at least in the first couple months, already has a lot of that. I'm going to Japan in March. I'm going to this crazy rich Asian wedding in the Philippines on a fucking private island resort that they rented out, right?
Oh my
I'm
god.
I'm I'm going to try and meet new friends and trying to vaguely, I don't know, like can I get a girlfriend for the first time? I don't
Oh
know.
my god.
Like I don't know. There's so much in store, right? And if there's very few things in my life that have been consistent, in the sense that things that I do. I've been streaming. This is like also one of the first year that I've been relatively more consistent in streaming. And thanks to people who in my chat that have been continuously supporting me regardless of gifting subs, being a VIP, doing community point challenge, and saying making me do random accents and reacts. And I'm just like, oh dude, that's awesome, right?
Yeah.
Despite how small it is, shout out to you guys, by the way. um yeah, I mean, things might change, but I at least I have my basis, right? I have my
Mhm.
basis to platform off of, and do what I want to do, and at the same time still have something relatively comfortable to fall back on, and it's still fun. So I mean, for you, do you have anything planned 23, or just in general long term? Because if if people know me, I'm not a very good long-term planner.
I'm not either. I learned that the hard way because all these plans I made in 2022 just didn't go through. But I learned not to take it out on myself and just look back on everything that I experienced. It's like when you, I think it was towards the end of 2022 where like I actually started doing things because I didn't move until October. And like prior to that, like my life was just day to day, like, okay, I gotta wake up, I gotta take care of myself, and then I gotta do things for work, and then I gotta, just keep doing the same thing. And I realized my life was stagnant because I made it that way. And if I want
Mm,
to actually do all the things that I want to do, then I have to go and make some sort of effort. And yeah, you want to live with no regrets and all the experiences that didn't end up being what you wanted it to be. Like, at least you can say that you did it.
right, right. I mean, even though there are some things that we're advocating for a lot of like just do it things, and obviously there's a lot of limitations, and for a lot
Hmm.
of people, if it's like financial, social, mental, emotional, or and occasionally physical, right? And we're not saying, or maybe, I mean, I can't speak for you, but as far as I'm going, like, I'm not saying take every chance that you can get to try something new and go out of your comfort zone. Take it at your own pace, but take it at a pace that you'll feel happy being uncomfortable with, right?
I'm
That
over here like promoting the opposite. I'm like, nah, fucking do it, dude.
don't give a dude, make that bank account go red. What the
No, it's not
shit?
even that. It's just more like something that my aunt told me was like life will always be hard. And life will be hard or as hard as you make it to be, right?
Okay.
So might as well do things that you look forward to. Like not necessarily plan super far out, but like for instance, I started living on a basis where like, okay, today was hard, but I'm looking forward to this next week. Like that kind of short term thing. Even if it's just like, oh, you know what? Today was tough, but I plan to go to the gym later today. Or like, you know what? Things aren't going my way right now, but like next week I'm going to California. Like things like that. Like you want to plan things or at least keep something open that you know that you enjoy. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's you're more of like the extreme version, right? You're already saying fuck it, but like
Yeah.
you said your auntie, right? Your aunt.
Yeah, because, like, my aunt, right? So,
Hmm.
like, she is no way means, like, rich or anything, but, like, she made this plan out whole 2022 where, like, okay, I'm gonna save up to this much, and then I'm gonna get this pass, this year-long pass for Disneyland, and
Hmm.
because flights are so cheap to California from Las Vegas, she's like,
Oh
"Every
damn!
weekend" she's like, "Every weekend, I'm gonna go to Disneyland. Like, fuck it, I'm gonna take a plane, we're gonna be there for a
Holy!
day, and then we're gonna go back home. Like, we don't need a hotel because we're just gonna have our bags that we're gonna bring to Disneyland and go home. And like, that's something that she looks forward to because she doesn't enjoy her job at all, but she
Oh,
enjoys Disneyland. You know what I mean? And it's like life can be boring at times, but if you want something, you got to go and do it yourself, It's not going to come to you. That goes for like everything. Like the dream job you want, the relationship that you're looking for. Like everything starts with, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and you just got to stick by it, because at least you have something in the back of your mind that you want. And if it doesn't work out, what did you learn in that journey of getting there?
right, right, and that's crazy. Just hearing stuff like that, like it's stories like these that not only inspire me, but like they revitalize that fire within me to just keep doing stuff, right?
Mhm.
Like that same night, all right, so going back to the Seattle trip, that same night I was getting messed up at the party, and we all shared an Uber to go back to one of the friend's place, and then I had to take an Uber back from the friend's place to the hotel. The Uber ride was like 7 minutes tops. And
Mhm.
I had a conversation with the Uber driver. He was like middle-aged man, probably like late 50s or so, mid 50s. So, and he was like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "Yeah, I'm just traveling Seattle, just came from like a party." And they're like, "Oh, that's good. How do you like the city?" He was like, "Pretty awesome." I was like, "You local?" He was like, "Yeah, I technically not local, but I have been living here for like over 20 years." And I was like, I made
Mhm.
a spontaneous decision to go meet my wife who lived near Seattle, not in Seattle, but then we decided to move here. And, we've been happy ever since. And it was a very big decision in my life. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're telling me like you're part of your life story. And I'm just like, dude, you made such a big decision to move from like across the country
Mhm.
with someone that you were talking to and, in a relationship with, and then make that big decision. He was like, yeah, just go out there and do it. And I was like, you sir are an inspiration. As a simple Uber driver that had to give me a 7-minute ride from an apartment to a hotel across downtown Seattle. I'm like, dude, I appreciate that shit, dude. That was like, I'm even though I was like drunk and sobering up, it was still a conversation that I won't forget because it left that much of an impact, no, despite how short that conversation was.
Well, you
So,
meet people for a reason. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe everything happens for a reason.
man, that's, I mean, that's just what it is. I was just like, we're gonna talk to people today. We're
Mhm.
gonna have a good time. Uber driver, party people, people at the markets. Fuck it. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot there, and looking back at that trip and 2022 as a whole, I'm just like, damn, dude, it's crazy, and the things that not even just me, but a lot of my friends have done, right?
Mhm.
And I've seen a lot of people grow, a lot of people not necessarily stagnate, but them like I've seen them go through hardships. I've seen both sides of the spectrum of success and troubles and struggles, and I'm just like, man, dude, it's been such an interesting year because this is in my mind, right? The first full year out of the pandemic too, because that pandemic changed so much of the dynamic of everybody, right?
Mhm.
I got a new job at the beginning of the year, end of February, beginning of March. A lot of people want to work from home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like people got let go, people got brought on onto the team. And what else? It's like people are moving to different cities, people are getting married, people are buying houses. Some people had family members that passed away and they were like really important to them. And I'm just like, this is, and because we were in the pandemic, right? It's like it was hard to be able to talk to people in person and experience what they were experiencing. But now that the pandemic is basically done, right? And
Mhm.
this is our first full year of being able to do that. Is is so crazy to me. It's like we don't have to experience stuff alone as much as we had to in the pandemic. So, I
Mhm.
mean, for you, right? In you in particular, did the pandemic, or do you see a lot of changes because of that pandemic versus like pre-pandemic stuff on like how you or other people navigated life?
Um, for me personally, the pandemic was around the time that I was in the military, so nothing changed for me. I was still like day to day, wake up, go to the ship, come back home, and do my own thing. But I think one thing that the pandemic did was it did stunt a lot of people's social skills. Like, you
Mm.
see many people struggle with interaction with others, but I think that's why 2022 was such a important year because, like, we're now, like, far from, like even though COVID's still around, like, we're still, like the pandemic was, like, ages ago, and, like, when you look at how everyone has changed, like 2022 was when everybody was going out again, everybody was trying to do their own thing, make it on like everyone started becoming content creators. I think everybody like picked up like, oh yeah, we can make money off of just like making videos online or like
Yeah,
creating music and stuff like
doing
that.
TikTok.
Yeah, doing TikTok, like, it was crazy because, like, when in 2022, like, you see the change in people. You see, like, people are getting loud about the things that they care about again, but in a more, like, healthy way. And then you see, like, just different varieties of people trying to make it in different ways. And I think this was the year where you hear those life experiences, you meet and lose some friends, you know? And like I think that 2023 is going to be unpredictable for everybody because now we're trying to learn how to be like a society again.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much to just how do I put this? It's for some people similar to me because like you're in the military. For you, it might not have changed, but for me, I realized I had a lot more baggage and dumb shit that I had to deal with, especially in the
Mhm.
pandemic, right? And like you said, people's like social skills, it kind of dulled it a little bit. And for sure, some people definitely were like that. They're like, oh man. But but like you said, the content creator stuff. Like
Mhm.
everyone was online doing something. That was literally the peak of Twitch. 2020
Yeah,
was the peak of Twitch. Guaranteed.
everyone everyone was trying to be a Twitch streamer. Like, I don't know, like, what went around, like and then, 2022 was when, like, everyone was leaving Twitch for YouTube, like, that kinda thing. Like, it was a big deal for everybody because there are now, like, new TikTok stars this year that are going through things and, like, people are trying to find new careers. Like, it's just kinda wild just seeing, like, the evolution of, like, everybody going to the path that they go on, you know?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, and you know, just generally speaking, the people can't predict the trajectory of how either society, or you could call it like the meta of social media and content
Uh-huh.
creating, is going to go, right? We see people going to YouTube because they're trying to support their live streaming and video making community just slightly better than they did
Mhm.
before, even though it kind of still sucks. Twitch is like trying to do whatever they can while still trying to be the number one streaming platform, even though content creators aren't really feeling it that much. But it's still what it is. You know, Discord is trying to evolve with all of it. TikTok, I'm not on TikTok, but I watch YouTube Shorts and Reels on Instagram. Whatever, so the same thing. But at the same time, it's just side like parallel to that, right? Is how people want to integrate that into their lifestyle, right? Because content creating in itself isn't easy. Um, Depending on like what kind of content you're making. Like for me,
Mhm.
I turn on the streaming. I open OBS, I press a streaming button, I talk to my friends and play games. That's easy content. Whatever. No, not a
It's
big deal.
tough, it's tough.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I mean, once you do it for a while, it's just a rhythm. It's like, what do I want to stream? Who am I streaming with? It's whatever. Like I have all my scenes set up.
Oh, fuck.
Damn, you don't even
Lucky.
have scenes set up. That sucks.
It's not even that I don't have like, what is it? It's not that I don't have scenes set up, it's just more like I can't do what you do, like, just start, just click the button because it's like, a lot of my streams have the same vibe, and I wanna keep that theme, and it's like, I gotta set up, like, the backdrop, I gotta do all of this, and it's just like I guess it's just, like, laziness on my end, but, like, to get to the
Mm-mm.
point where you are, where you're just like, "No, I'm just gonna put out content," like, that's where I wanna be. I wanna be comfortable enough to just, like, hey, here's a schedule and here's my content, you know? It's very difficult to do what you do, and, like, I commend you for that.
No, I mean, and not just because it's like similar to you, right? Like I want to be consistent, but not in the same way. It's like my
Mhm,
vibe is just me being real with generally with what I do. I'm just like,
mhm.
fuck. I was like, I wasn't really feeling streaming today, but I'm turning on the camera anyways because I just wanna just turn it on. I just want to have something just to show that I'm alive. Other days where it's like podcasts like these, right? Where some of these podcasts I'll be super excited and super hyped up, and have new guests on or people to talk to, and I'll have a
Mhm.
lot of energy. But then there were a good chunk of episodes where I was like, dude, I'm fucking tired, and I'll be
Yeah.
super low energy. I'm just like, oh man, I mean, yeah, whatever.
Mhm.
Food
Food,
food, yeah, I don't
food.
fucking know. But you know, it's just a matter of regardless of whether it's same vibe. This is me, like, you know, nothing against you and like whatever,
Uh-huh.
or
All against
whoever.
me.
It's not,
All
yeah,
against me. First, it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
you
fuck you, yeah,
reconnected with
fuck your
people.
friends, fuck your stream. I don't see anyone gifting 50 subs. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding,
Wow!
dude.
The
I'm kidding. I'm
shade,
kidding.
dog.
What up, G-Force? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Obviously. But it's just like, I think it's still in my about me. Actually, I have to double check before I like. I know I changed it, so I don't know if it's in my about me anymore.
Mhm.
Let me check. Let me check. My about me. Refresh. I think the formatting's weird. Oh, the formatting is fucking weird. Okay. Anyways, but the point is, you know, I was like, I just want to keep it real, right?
Yeah.
This is who I am. You know, even if I was a VTuber, like even though I'm a VTuber, I'm still gonna act like how I would act normally, just slightly more exaggerated because you can't see my actual face and you can't see my,
Mhm.
all you hear is my voice and just me and my head movements, right?
Yeah.
It's like regardless of whatever content I put out there, it's still me at the end of the day. Then like if you want to keep your vibe, that's you, and like whoever else streams and they want to have their if you were a W tuber, what's a W tuber?
For the win. Win tuber.
Oh. But
I'm
yeah,
kidding.
like but it's like that's just me, right? Like, and that's why I appreciate the people that come back for me, because I don't stream the same games over again. I don't like I'm not a one game streamer. I'm not a only podcast channel. I'm not an IRL streamer. Like I'm a variety streamer, and I'll be like that till like the day that I can't stream anymore.
Yeah.
And by that same concept, it doesn't matter what game I'm playing. I'm just like I'm a human being just like everybody else. I'll have highs and lows. If I'm not feeling it, then I'll just end the stream. That's fine. If I'm feeling it, I'll have a long ass stream. I don't usually do long streams anyways, usually, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
It's just me putting myself on the internet, and occasionally, of course, it'll be a little more exaggerated. Am I always this energetic? No. Am I always that sad when I'm sad? No. But the point is, it's just like me putting myself out there is how I keep myself. It sounds weird. Putting myself out there on the internet is keeping me planted in reality, because
Mhm.
I'm still able to voice how I feel, even if it's more vague and not as detailed. And, you know, I can't say every single detail about my life on the internet. I mean, I could, but
Yeah.
I don't want to. But
Canceled.
yeah, hey, I'm not, just because I'm racist, not on stream. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding,
Wow!
dude. I hate Filipinos.
Wow! Wow. You know, this thank you. This is my last time as guest.
The fuck? I'm Filipino too. The
I know
shit.
you're one of those.
I'm one of those Filipino. Oh, what do you mean one of those?
Those who
Um,
just hate their own kind.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But I mean, you know, that's just my approach. Obviously, some people like to have that format. They like to have a set thing, and I respect that more than what I do, because I'm just like, I don't give a fuck, right? If you give a fuck about your content more than me, and you like having that format, that same energy, that same vibe, then more power to you, because it's like, you know what you want. For me, all I want is I'm a very simple man. I'm a very simple.
Uh,
If you want more extravagant, nicer things, go for it. Do it. Don't compare me to you, because my standards are much more different.
right, right. Yeah, that goes with everything too. Like, don't compare your life to others. Don't compare your success to others. Just do you.
Yeah, dude. Jay wants me to be an exclusive Project Zomboid streamer. Well, I mean, we'll find out how much I enjoy the game when I play with you guys once this community points challenge gets completed in the next week. Who knows?
Eh?
But yeah. I mean, back to what you were saying. I mean, go ahead, Kat.
Oh no, I was just saying, like you just that's pretty much how I think life should be lived. It should just be lived for you, and whatever's meant for you is meant for you. You know, like if you want to do certain things with your content, don't let somebody else who has a completely different view from you change that, because then you lose your originality. Like being original is hard nowadays, but by being yourself, like by being Neon, you create content that is specifically geared towards people that, like what you do, and that's based off of like you as a person.
Mm. Yeah, I'll just be like, yeah, I feel like the people who come back, thankfully, I appreciate them. Again, shout out to you guys in the chat and everyone who subs by. Normally is I appreciate them because, they're chill. And I'm not the best gamer. My gameplay is pretty mediocre sometimes. Not sometimes, majority of the time. It's like you could see the same content somewhere else. But like
Mhm.
they chat with me and like they appreciate the kind of personality. Again, my personality is not even that original. I don't consider myself that original. I just because I know a lot of people can do what I do.
Yeah.
I'm not, even though I'm a person that you've all met, and this isn't a job where I can be replaced. Right? Like a
Mhm.
like a like a capitalist corporate job. It's like, "Oh, we can find someone else to replace you," right? It's more so that you guys or you all decided to manage to still stick with me and be able to chat and still connect and do this stuff. So just because I'm doing something, it's still a two-way street where even though I'm doing what I'm doing, I respect everyone who comes through and interacts with me, because that's what they're doing. They're doing what they're doing, and it's like, you guys coming to my channel, that's a lot of support as it is already. And you know, a good amount of people on this platform don't even stream, right? Like a lot of them just watch streams, and people
Yeah.
don't credit them enough for being able to support them by just watching and just chatting in the chat and like supporting their favorite streamers or friends and whatever it is. And just like I said earlier, the trajectory of how people are active on a platform is unpredictable.
Mhm.
But for the people that are still active on said platform and supporting people, I praise y'all. I praise y'all. Y'all make this more fun. You guys, I stream for me, but you guys make this really fun.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So yeah, that's my little spiel about people in chat. I love you guys. I love you, Cat. Gosh, you're so amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Ah, God, yeah, you guys are awesome.
Fuck.
Fuck, he called me awesome. Damn
What
it.
is happening?
God, I hate being complimented.
Fuck.
Ew, disgusting. Ew, gross. What is this tingly feeling inside?
What is happening? Oh,
Oh
man.
my gosh. But I mean, that's just how I try to put too many words into an emotional response.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
see, I see.
Yeah. It's just if I vomit words out of my mouth, it'll mean something to someone somehow, I
If
think.
you regurgitate these
Oh my god. If I keep saying the same stuff that you said, it'll work. But yeah, I mean, yeah, there's just 2022 is wild. It was like
Yeah.
we saw a lot of people be less consistently on the platform, on Twitch, but there's still people here. And yeah, I mean, did you have a good end of the year, or like where was your peaks and lows through the year? And we'll wrap that up as the end of the episode. So where did you have like good months, bad months? Was it summer, spring, fall, or winter in
I think
particular?
I think in general, like, if I were to reflect on my life this year, it would be, there are plans that I had. Not many people knew, but I was engaged, and, ever since that didn't work out, that was one of the lows because, you plan something with someone and then you realize that's not for you. And then the highs were basically like understanding that regardless of the situation that you're in, like for me, I felt very trapped. there's always a way out, you know? And by living life for yourself and doing things that make you happy regardless of what others say, like I think that was the high for me, like meeting new people, being able to experience things for myself and being happy in my own skin, happy to have done the things that I've done. And yeah, I think that was pretty much my 2022. And now that we're going into 2023, like there's just so much more of life that we don't really know unless we go and you just do it.
Absolutely. So, I mean, wonderful. I mean, as for me, my highs were just whenever I got to hang out with someone and experience something, but also just be able to make plans and try new things. So,
Mhm.
you know, I got plans for 23. We're gonna go snowboarding. We're gonna go to Philippines and Japan. I'm gonna talk to new people, more photo shoots. Fucking go to the gym again. Holy shit.
I just wanted to interrupt and say, when you asked that question, my best friend was like, "You better say fucking fall and winter, because that's when I met him." It's just
Oh.
like, that better be one of the highs. It was. It
God.
was one of the highs. Well,
Oh.
actually, the only high, actually, because like, I mean, when you think about people who actually have internet friends and never get to meet them, like,
Hmm.
I was fortunate enough to meet somebody that was everything that I thought they were from when I was smaller, you know?
Mm.
I even made, like, a whole, like, vlog about it, and I could show you sometime. It was pretty wild. Like, I think that was the start of me realizing that life is too short. Like, when you went to Seattle, life is too short not to experience these things because you would have never known.
Exactly. And what I do know now is Seattle's a great place to visit. Would never live in that city. I would never, I would not want to live in Seattle. There's nothing to do there. I'm sorry, Seattle. You are boring.
Wow!
I'm sorry. I talked about this like a month ago. Yeah, sorry, Seattle.
Seattle slander is what I'm hearing.
Hey, that's a great tagline. Hashtag Seattle slander. Right next to it, hashtag I am neon gaming.
Oh my god.
No,
Canceled.
okay, fucking yeah, come get me in fucking LA, dude. I swear to God, yeah, come talk shit about LA. No one can talk shit harder than about LA than LA.
Right? Y'all a bunch of fuck boys.
Yeah.
And then the AVGs, and then just everybody is into cars, has tattoos, has a nicotine problem. Oh, you guys don't have nicotine flavored vapes anymore.
What do you mean we don't? What?
California banned it.
We did?
21st.
Oh well, I didn't know that. I stopped vaping back in college because I was broke.
Nice.
It was a financial decision rather than anything else. Boba flavored grapes. I've had milk tea flavored vape before. Pretty good actually. But we'll talk about vapes and some other stuff in the post podcast show, like gymming. Oh, we didn't talk about the gym. I was gonna segue into that and a tangent, but I totally forgot because we talked about other stuff. But
Mhm.
uh, Kat, any final shout outs, words, plugs, lightning round questions that you have for this episode before we go into the post podcast show?
I think I just have more of like a statement. I think to everybody who experienced hardships and lows in 2022, let this be an experience that we leave in the past, because even though like I'm against the whole new year, new me, I think after every new year, you should give yourself a pat on the back and be like, you know what, I made it. I made it to another year. I've lost people along the way. I've experienced good and bad things. However, this is a time for me to say good job. And I think that life always has something in store for you, and as long as you stick to your own morals and your own happiness, you will flourish and you will find the things that you enjoy. So say goodbye to 2022 and hello to 2023.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kat. Well, I'm not even gonna say anything. That was a great speech. So yeah, good job, everyone. Good job. Where's that?
Good job.
Where's that scene from Hancock? Good job. You seen that?
Good
You know
job.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking
Yeah, yeah.
about? Good job.
You fuck.
No, you good job. But yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks everyone. Shout out to you guys for making it through 2022. I think I'm still gonna stream a couple more times before the end of the year. Um, but unlike the post podcast show being immediately after the podcast show, I have to use a bathroom and check on something for like a few minutes. So we will take a short break before the post podcast show. Say hi YouTube, everyone, like Spalding. There you go, Cat. Say hi YouTube. Say hi chat. Cool. But yeah, once again, thank you everyone. If you're watching all the way through to this podcast episode, good job in general. Like, you know, if you watch all the way through. Otherwise, I hope to see you next time. If you only watch my podcast episodes, I will see you in 2023. But otherwise, I will see everyone else in the post podcast show. Hopefully, we'll watch a couple reaction videos, and maybe we'll watch that Hancock clip. I'll get flagged on Twitch. I don't give a fuck. um but yeah, bye. Say bye YouTube. Bye Cat. Bye YouTube.
Bye.